Hello friends, and welcome to the Life Upgrade Challenge, which is a series of rituals designed to help us realize our dreams in 2024. Over the coming weeks, we will complete a total of 5 rituals to help us close 2023 in the best way possible and step into 2024 with an actionable plan to turn our dreams into our reality. In this first video of the series, we will upgrade our spaces with a complete reset of our environment, including our physical, digital, and mental spaces. As a self-proclaimed Notion freak, obviously I created a Notion template to help us complete these New Year's rituals in an easy and enjoyable way. This will be our master guide to upgrade every single aspect of our lives in 2024. The best part, I made it available to you for free. So go ahead and download it using the link in the description box and take it as a Christmas gift from me to you. I'm so excited about this New Year's challenge that I'm considering running 2 live workshops on goal setting and planning at the start of 2024. So comment below if you're interested, and if there's enough interest, I will notify everyone who's downloaded the Notion template. I hope you guys are up for it because I'd love it. Resetting is all about decluttering, cleaning, and organizing in order to simplify our lives. The main goal is to make it easier for us to complete the daily tasks that we need to do. Our spaces have a huge influence in how we feel and behave. A decluttered and organized space makes us feel more inspired, creative, and productive, which brings a sense of peace and control over our lives. On the other hand, a messy and cluttered environment makes us feel overwhelmed, tired, distracted, and anxious, which causes stress and procrastination. The biggest issue with cluttered spaces is that they make it harder for us to do the tasks they are designed for. So if you feel a lot of resistance to do certain tasks, ask yourself, how could you upgrade? How could you simplify your environment to make it easier for you to do the task? As an example here, try to imagine cooking in a very messy kitchen where there's no counter space and the sink is an absolute mess. It would be really hard. And that's the problem with cluttered spaces. Without further ado, let's get started with resetting our spaces to simplify our lives. I can promise you that completing this challenge will leave you feeling fresh for the new year. Here's our strategy to complete this reset ritual. We will follow 3 steps, so grab your Notion template and follow along. Step number 1 is to take inventory. So go around your physical and digital spaces, taking notes of what you want to reset. You can then categorize the areas for improvement by physical space and digital device. Step number 2 is to create a plan. Now that you have a list of the spaces you want to reset, you can plan when you would like to do it. For example, you can challenge yourself to complete it in 1 weekend or a few weekday evenings, whatever works best for you. Now on to my favorite. Step number 3 is to make the process of resetting more enjoyable and rewarding. And for that, I suggest doing it in 3 phases. Phase 1 is preparation. So you want to select 1 task, take a before photo, and set a timer for how long you'd like to spend doing that reset. Phase 2 is execution. So play some music or a podcast, anything to make it more enjoyable, and try to compete with your timer and be as effective as you can so you can finish before the timer is up. Phase 3 is completion. Once the timer goes off, stop for a minute to assess the situation. Have you finished the task? If so, happy days, you're done. If you haven't, then you have to make a decision. Would you like to continue the task or do you prefer to leave it for another day? And either way, you should feel very proud of yourself and celebrate this accomplishment by rewarding yourself. My main point in this video is to show you that resetting doesn't need to be this daunting task, that you can turn it into a little enjoyable project. And if you're pondering whether it is worth the time and effort to reset, consider this an investment in your peace of mind and productivity for the new year. Now I'll give you some tips on how to reset your physical spaces. Definitely start with decluttering. And I recommend that you tackle one drawer or shelf at a time and that you separate your clothes and other items into 4 different piles. So the first pile is the keep pile. And obviously this is for all the items, all the clothes that I want to keep, things that I generally use and like. Second, we have the bin pile, and that's for everything that is unusable, broken, or that I don't really use anymore and nobody's gonna want it anyway, so that's for the bin. Next is the donation pile. So this is for everything that I don't really use, but it is pretty usable still, and I know that other people would like it. So I either give it to charity or to a friend that I know would like that item. Anything that is not aligned with who I want to be, so any clothes that don't really fit my style anymore, or foods that I don't particularly want to be eating anyway. Finally, the box pile. And this is pretty interesting. I just take a box and put everything that I'm not quite sure if I'll need in the future or if I want to keep, but I'm not quite ready to get rid of it or give it away. So after you gather all these items into this box, you can put this box away and revisit it in 6 months. And then you can decide whether you'd like to keep those items or you want to give them away. After all, you haven't used them for 6 months. My final decluttering tip regarding items that have an emotional value. So I do believe that you should keep most items that have an emotional value, but sometimes it can get to a lot. What I find really helpful is to take a photo of the item, and in that way I have a digital memory of it and I find it easier then to throw it out. So I recommend that you create a memory box where you put your letters, notes, any small gifts you got from friends and family. And that way, every time you open that box, you find something that brings back good memories. So now that you have all your items out, separate into these piles, it is the perfect time to do some cleaning. And that's when I do all the wiping of my drawers, shelves, and all. The final step in resetting your physical space is to organize the things that you want to keep. And I have a few tips for that. First, I like to organize my items according to how frequently I use them. The items that I use more frequently, they should be very accessible to make my day-to-day life very simple. I personally like to put everything away into drawers, shelves, and cupboards, whatever, and only leave on display decorative items and things that I generally use every single day and find visually pleasing. Now I'll give you some tips on how to reset your digital spaces. So that is your laptop or computer, or else your tablet and phone. So let's get into it. Starting with my laptop, one tip that I find very useful is to use the favorites in my favor. So I usually favorite all the folders that I'm currently working on. So I have a project folder for whatever projects are currently work in progress. So it's very easy for me to access it or to drop any files into it as well. Another trick that I use to find files more easily and folders as well is to use numbers to sort the different files within a folder or the different folders within a folder. Now let's address the elephant in the room. We all have that one folder that gets all the clutter. There's just so many random files there that we don't even know where to start. This is a good time for you to go through every single one of those files, delete everything that you don't need, and organize the other ones that you do need. So yeah, I definitely recommend setting a timer and trying to get through that task. Now that we've addressed our files and folders, it's time to address our emails. So I find that I receive emails from different email lists that I'm not interested in anymore. So I just take 5 minutes to go through my recent emails and unsubscribe from any email lists that are not of interest. Finally, let's talk about web browsers. So I'm very guilty of this. I have just too many tabs open, so I'll just go through every single one of them, close them out, and save anything that I need for further reference. Another thing that I wanted to review is the extensions tab, just to make sure that I have only extensions that I use and to remove all the other ones. Now on to resetting our phone to make it look fresh and simple again. The first thing I recommend that you do is to look through the apps that you have downloaded on your phone. Obviously, remove all the ones that you don't use anymore, and for apps that you tend to spend a lot of time, really consider if you really need those apps, especially gaming and social media apps. If you can try to remove those or reduce your use in some way, that will be very beneficial for you, simplifying your life and opening up more time for you to do other things. My second tip is to review your notification settings and to try to remove as many notifications as possible, because notifications, they really are a distraction most of the times, and you don't really need to know in the exact moment what is happening. So if you can remove those notifications, that is going to be so beneficial to you, I promise. You'll thank me for this later. Recently, I set up focus modes on my phone, and I couldn't recommend it more. My phone basically looks completely different depending on the focus mode it is on, and it is absolutely brilliant. I can't recommend it more. Another suggestion that I have for resetting your phone is to create home screens by category. For example, I have one home screen where all my financial apps are, and then another home screen for all my health and fitness related apps and so on. And I find it is a great way to organize your apps, to find them more easily on your phone. Lastly, I'll give you some tips on how to reset your mind to have more mental space and clarity. First, I recommend writing down any pending tasks that you need to do that you keep thinking about, and categorize them into this year's and next year's. So that is going to create that bit of mental space in your head. You don't need to be thinking about them anymore. Next, I suggest journaling. So do a brain dump of whatever is taking up your mental space. Write down all your thoughts and feelings on the events, decisions, or relationships, or anything that happened that you keep thinking about. Writing down your thoughts and feelings really helps you understand better what happened. That creates a lot of clarity and also frees up some mental space so you can think about other things. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I really hope that this video inspired you to reset for the new year. Go ahead and grab the Notion template linked below and get started with your reset ritual now. In the next video of the Life Upgrade Challenge, we will reflect on our year. I'll walk you through some insightful journaling exercises to get you reflecting on the wins and lessons from 2023, so you can figure out what are the changes you want for 2024. So click here to watch it next. I see you there. Bye!